Hey guys, it's Bad Lori. Welcome back to my channel again. I am here for you with another patch notes update. So today we're going to talk about the 6.3 patch notes. In case you're new here though, definitely subscribe. I usually do some really cool videos where I read you the news. I also do Let's Plays and builds. Today is going to be a little bit more somber though. I just couldn't get it up to do all the exciting video stuff that I usually do. So here's the patch notes. The Sims 4 Eco Lifestyle expansion pack drops in just a mere few days, and since we know that your best eco lifestyle can take a little extra elbow grease, we've added some exciting quality of life improvements to help pave the way. Between inventory updates, new cast assets from a surprise partnership with Mac, the return of two beloved NPCs, as well as some really cool new build features, we hope you really enjoy the update. Simguru Jill and Simguru Ruski. New and improved features. Inventory updates. Fellow hoarders, this one's for you. We have updated the Sim inventory with the ability to filter, sort, favorite, multi-select, and multi-sell in one easy flick of the wrist. Managing that cumbersome pile of collectibles you've been racking up for the past 5 years has never been so easy. Free placement of doors and windows. Following in true eco lifestyle fashion, door and window placement is now also off the grid, but not that kind of off the grid. The limiting kind of tile grid that used to keep you from placing your windows and doors precisely where you wanted them. By holding down the Alt key while dragging, you can enjoy the smooth sensations of free door and window placement. Ladders. Ladders have been added as part of the build system. Find your free classic wooden ladder in the build catalog in the stairs and ladders category. Unlike island living's dock and ladder objects for use on water lots, these ladders can be placed anywhere on your lot and stairs alike. They can be used as means for Sims to traverse from one floor to another. Mac Cosmetics. Did you say you needed some fresh looks for your Sims? We've collaborated with none other than Mac Cosmetics to bring you 12 fashion-forward makeup assets suited from everything from everyday to night-out glam. If you're not already using it on PC and Mac, we're recommending you use the uncompressed sim texture settings in Options menu, which is now enabled by default on the high and ultra graphic setting profile in order to see these looks really shine. While console versions of The Sims do not have these settings in the option menu, each console spec is automatically using the optimal graphic settings based on your system's resources. Repo Person NPC. The Repo Person NPC has graduated with honors from Discovery University's University of Brightchester with a degree in villainy and has comfortably taken up residence in base game. Now everyone can taste their wrath if the bill payments fall behind. Bills update. Speaking of bills, we've added a cohesive breakdown of Sims bills information that can be accessed via an interaction on the mailbox or phone. Now instead of lumping everything together, you can see what percentage of your bills go to water, what percentage go to power, and insight into any fees, reductions, or penalties. All this and more calculated and cleanly presented in your finer understanding. Legacy neighborhood map tags. We've gone back and added map tags with neighborhood descriptions to existing neighborhoods that didn't yet have them. We now have delightful icons, names, descriptions for the no longer forgotten Willow Creek, Oasis Springs, Newcrest, and Windenburg. Okay, feel free to freak out now. Off the grid updates. This one is tricky to list out in a single paragraph with attempted wit, so I'll just drop this bullet list off right here. The off-the-grid lot trait now ties in with our new bills update. Drawing from water and power utility without excess utility, lot functions off the grid as they did before. With excess utility, they function more like an on-the-grid lot. There is a new off-the-grid build category that will allow players to find off-the-grid and survival-esque objects. We've done a pass on candles to ensure they properly work when the electricity is out. Just like mine's about to be because there's a storm. I hope y'all can't hear it back there. Off-the-grid supported refrigerators now have an add ice interaction that will allow them to keep food preserved so long as the ice remains. Sims will now have autonomously used stoves and fridges when off the grid, not just grills. Harvestables will now grant unique buffs when consumed off the grid. Dog and toddlers will now have a unique interaction to bathe in bathtubs even when off the grid. Objects can now be cleaned using the elbow grease interaction. Yummy. Players are able to gather water utility from fishing spots in the base game. With Island Living, they can gather from the waterfall. Water can also be gathered from any world of swimmable ocean water. With Seasons, water can be gathered from snowdrifts. Off-the-grid specific buffs will now take into account motives and sim traits when determining if a sim should receive a positive or negative mood when living off the grid. We've added multiple new recipes that can be cooked while off the grid, given a sim has the proper cooking skill level. Some recipes require special ingredients, like the boiling frog hot pot, which adds a really neat survival element to off-the-grid gameplay, while providing sims with powerful new moodlets that will help them with survival in the wild. No trespassing! Some people who have the vampire game pack appreciate Vlad's antics more than others. I personally love receiving a charming visit from Vlad, and sometimes I could really use the kind of compliment about my neck. But we've heard that there are a select few that don't quite like having their Sims necks bitten and motive tanked by an invasive nighttime visitor with no respect for boundaries. Keep vampires and other unwanted visitors at bay with a new no trespassing interaction we've added to the door. Send home interaction. Speaking of unwanted visitors, we've also added a new send home interaction that's available on visiting NPCs or as a self-interaction in case of multiple visitors. How is the interaction any different than an ask to leave or a go away, you might ask? Convenience. Unlike its less effective predecessors, this interaction is nearly instantaneous and leaves your visitors with no hurt feelings or relationship impact. We've added a useful tool for players not necessary for storytelling mechanism. Build mode items grant gameplay effects. How you build your lot can now affect your gameplay. Certain objects such as wall patterns, floor patterns, fences, and columns bring different game modifiers. Some of these modifiers affect how your bills and utilities are calculated by decreasing or increasing your power or water utility production or usage, as well as increasing or decreasing the price of bills. Environment score can now be impacted by certain objects and materials. Drywall walls without wall patterns applied decrease environment score just like they did in The Sims 3. The choice of floor and wall materials used can also affect the ability to spread fire or puddles at an increased or lessened rate. And if you'd rather build your lot without having to think about these things, don't worry, there's an option in the gameplay menu to turn all of this off. Firefighter Npc. Oh hey, and speaking of fire, that reminds me. Did you hear that we've added the Firefighter Npcs to the game? Well, we took nods from our classic Firefighter NPC behavior from The Sims 2, and The Sims 3, and added a few small twists for The Sims 4. When a fire breaks out, firefighters will come automatically to your lot if you have already have a fire alarm installed. That way, if you still like to let things burn baby burn, you can just accidentally forget to place a fire alarm. It's okay, we won't tell anybody. If you honestly did forget to place a fire alarm, you can call the fire department from the phone or by clicking on the fire itself. If the fire department is called but there is not an active fire, they will call you on your lapse of judgment and charge you a fine. You won't be punished if there was legitimately a fire that was extinguished before they arrived though. The firefighter uniform can be accessed in CAS and gives the sim wearing the firefighter uniform a fireproof buff, which they can get some extra protection against fires from, as well as making them more efficient at putting out the fires themselves. It's worth noting that Firefighter Npcs do not show up in Island Living Sulani. Sulani already has their local fire brigade to handle these kinds of emergencies, and besides, who wants to wear all that heavy firefighter gear in the tropics? Styled looks for tots and kids. More than 20 new styled looks have been added for children and toddlers using existing base game CAS assets to better flesh out some outfit categories that previously felt sparse. Balancing passive phone call invitations. After 5 years of expansion packs, game packs, and stuff packs, all of our phone calls invites were admittedly starting to get a little spammy. Moments after you move in, you got a call from Lucas Munch hitting you up, after you asking you to go to the Bluffs with him. Not long after that, you might have had Vivian Lewis asking you to join her at the Spice Festival. Geez, let me get settled in first, why don't ya? We've done a tuning pass to rebalance all of these previously competing phone invites to give you a more meaningful and holistic experience. Less invasive earbuds. In the same vein as the above balancing pass, we wanted to smooth out one of our more pressing notifications. The free earbuds pop-up that comes with the fitness stuff has been changed to a more passive TNS and gifts your Sims the earbuds automatically when triggered. The day of telling the game over and over again that you don't want free earbuds, or worse, hitting OK by accident, is a thing of the past. Console updates. Eco Lifestyle releasing on the same day across all platforms marks an important milestone for The Sims 4 as Simmers get to play the same content and share new creations on the gallery together. In this update, console Simmers have a few additional features to improve their quality of life. We have added new controls overlay reminder that shows up throughout the cast, gallery, live mode, and build mode, which should make it easier for new Simmers to jump in and not need to remember all the controls. If you don't want to be reminded and you know all the controls by heart, you can turn off the controls overlay reminder in the game options, other menu. The controller overlay screens remain available for those who want them. Now, on to the fixes and updates. The Sims 4 base. Mac OS players should no longer encounter the setlocale.zsh error. However, both Origin and TS4 must be up to date. Sims will not have random accessories or clothing pieces when changing into towels. Style influencer Sims can now remove trends they have created with the reset trend interaction. Fixed an issue where Sims were not able to care for self after they have been in daycare while they were a toddler. Some roofs were updated to remove the appearance of black sides when placed on ceilings. Active Sims will no longer get a tense mood lit for lack of exercise when finishing exercise. Do you even push up, bro? Sims will no longer get a fatigue mood lit immediately after starting a workout. Now, we know that in turn this takes some time to build, but we've decided to give Sims a chance to enjoy their workout before being completely fatigued right away. Child Sims will now be able to unlock the video gaming skill after they've maxed out their mental skill instead of their motor skill, which was causing their adult skills to reset for child Sims when they completed their aspiration. Fixed an issue in which some households did not have their names displayed in managed worlds. Corrected requirements for completing the Grant Landscaper task that is part of the Mansion Baron aspiration. Fixed an issue in which when utilities are shut off, either because of past due bills or off the grid, adding objects from build mode such as lamps won't add them turned on. The water pump, fishing holes, romantic gardens, whispering wishing well, and Get Famous's luminary exotic water garden now have the gather water interaction when off the grid lot trait is applied. Fixed an issue in which the subtle saucer light was not being so subtle and made objects added from build mode be placed randomly when dragged near it. Teen Sims will now see the appropriate tooltip when trying to acquire the fertility trait from the reward store. No, they are not robots. Fixed an issue which some roof eaves were clipping into enclosed blocks. Fixed an issue where the cleanup interaction would drop off of the queue if dirty dishes were placed on a counter. Since we added a new trash bike to Eco Lifestyle, we've made the bicycle helmet available for everyone in cast. Now you can outfit your sim in a helmet regardless of owning the pack that includes bikes. Sims will now not receive occasional text messages asking them for a date from Sims that they are not romantically involved with, because it was awkward. Toddler Sims will not be able to ask for mentoring on some progress mentoring interactions to strangers, except for the invite to Bob to dance, because we can dance if we want to, we can leave our friends behind, because your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. Fixed an issue of textures for the tops of the landings on some staircases. Fixed an issue that did not allow randomizer to work correctly when male Sims had makeup on Create a Sim. Plants can now be placed closer to foundations with Move Objects cheat enabled, as long as most of the plant's footprint is outside of the foundation. Fixed an issue in which simoleons were not added to household funds when moving and selling furniture. Fixed an issue in which previewing certain windows on diagonal walls reverted their color back to the default swatch color. Simmers on Mac OS Catalina and Intel Iris Plus Graphics 640 GPU will no longer experience seeing squared shadows under their Sims. Fixed an issue with the Wooden Prairie style 2-panel door in which color swatches were not displaying correctly on both sides of the door. Sims can now dispose of packed lunches that have spoiled. Out, foul food! Fix some oddness with disappearing stairs within enclosed courtyards. Fixed a stair issue with landings not working properly on lots with raised foundations and basements. Sims will no longer walk through walls and things should now look appropriate. Fixed missing career promotion screens for careers in various packs. fixed user interface elements and icons across multiple packs. Spandrels will now properly apply across fences. Stairs will now shrink when increasing foundation heights. Get together. Fixed an issue with non-local sim townies would spawn in Windenburg's Island, now named the Crumbling Isle. As much as Windenburgians, Windenburgers, Windenburgies, Windenburgalites love visitors from other worlds, they have voted them off the island. Sorry, not sorry. Fixed an issue that caused an error to occur when deleting or editing clubs. City living. Fixed an issue that caused the time to be desynchronized at speed 3, bending the space and time continuum no more. Vet clinics can no longer be placed in penthouses. Yard sale customers will no longer wander inside Sim's house and interact with their belongings. While prospective buyers are nice to have in any sale, that was just rude, and this is not a welcome wagon. Cats and dogs. Game progress will no longer be lost when editing, adding, deleting career outfits and create a sim. Fixed an issue that made pets' needs not be fulfilled if playing an active household. Pets' poop is now able to be used as a plant fertilizer. Happy gardening. Seasons. Sims can now sell flowers in stacks from their inventory. Sims will now appropriately put their umbrellas away before performing some interactions because woohoo while having an umbrella out in the open seems complicated. We're not judging, but seems complicated. Fixed an issue that made Simmer-created holidays in the calendar populate after a season ended. Father Winter will now be able to remove his beard and change in Create-a-Sim if he is part of an active household. But who would dare shave Father Winter's beard? Who? Get famous. Fixed the issue with the actor career where the Sims were unable to complete their gig where they would travel and return home before it was time for their gig. Island living. Lotta Cocoladas will now be made from actual coconuts taken from Sims inventories. What were they made from before? We'll never know. Never accept imitation Lotta Cocoladas. Never. Fixed an issue with some quick meals requiring a microwave while being off the grid. When is this not needed? Yogurt needing a microwave? I think not. Mermaids in Create-a-Sim will no longer be able to have their traits randomized. This allows them to keep their mermaidism as well as the air of mystery and charm. Mermaids will now wear appropriate career outfits when going to work. So I can picture this now. Mermaids as doctors. Would be a great TV show. Dr. Mermaid Merman, what do you recommend? I am prescribing some vitamin C. Give Ruski more coffee, please. Fixed an issue in which some island living tank tops were categorized incorrectly in Create-a-Sim. Mermaid children made in Create-a-Sim will now grow up to be fully functioning mer-adults. The Go to Work button for Ops Jobs has been fixed for Sims on vacation. The eyedropper tool will now work on stilts instead of only working on foundation trims. Fixed an issue in which Sims in off-the-grid lots were showering constantly. Now they will only shower when appropriate. Though, with this heat wave, anything goes in my opinion. Discover University. Student Sims will not lose their term presentation boards when signing up for another term. Simmers with seasons additionally installed. Student Sims will no longer receive academic probation if they were on planned holidays through the calendar. Student Sims will no longer be labeled as graduate after completing the graduation ceremony. Congratulations! Fixed an issue in which homework assignment progression was too slow and timers might have been missing in some instances. Fixed an issue in which Sims were taking showers fully clothed. As much of the current heat wave is giving us creative ideas to cool off, it would be more efficient to be not fully clothed when showering. Hairstyle YM_hair_EP08 men's shave ponytail _black has been updated for teens, adults, and elders to display all swatches. Similarly, YF hair_EP08 short bob braid _black has been fixed to appear as an option for teens. Sims that re-enroll in university after graduating or dropping out can now rejoin their secret society. Likewise, if a Sim gets suspended and re-enrolls, their progress will not be lost. If a Sim already knows about the secret society, is it still a secret? Time will tell. Fixed an issue with the game day glute accommodator chair that occasionally would make Sims invisible if they placed it in their inventory. We don't know what other powers the game day glute accommodator chair may have, but invisibility is now not one of them. Sims in the law career can now attend depositions from their computers and phones because you don't need to break your computer and complete the assignment that seems impractical. Vampire coffins and sleeping pods can now count as beds in university dorms. Fixed an issue in which the write and publish research paper interaction would disappear from the options if it was cancelled mid-May. I mean, I understand rage quitting something, but not to the point of my options to do it disappearing? Am I right? Fixed an issue with YFbody_EP08 dress party solid purple in which pendant necklaces were not able to be seen if this asset was worn by Sims. Fixed an issue that could make the soccer interaction studies plays with drop from the interaction queue. Corrected final exam requirements for elective courses to say that studying they need to do so on a computer or research machine. To anyone who may have noticed the tiny head effect in the thumbnails if you wore the dragon or lobster mascot costume without their hats, that issue has been fixed. Humanoid robots will no longer be able to have traits or aspirations modified and create a sim. You are a real sim to me, robot friend. You are to me. Outdoor retreat. Herbalism recipes can now work off the grid. However, they can only work on off-the-grid supported stoves. Dine out. Random NPCs will not leave hamburgers on tables at restaurants anymore. As much as we like to receive free food, we don't think it's proper to get them randomly off a stranger. Vampire Sims working on the Master Vampire aspiration will no longer have the task, survive for an additional 20 days as a vampire, reset after traveling. Vampire Sims with the full sun resistance are now able to properly tend to gardens and not tend to plants one at a time. Fixed an issue in which you could set the registered vampire layer lot trait for venues. Vampire child ears can now be changed after being aged down from adult dark form. The rustic candle chandelier now has flame effects on the candles. Jungle adventures. Fans/stands will no longer follow their adorned celebrities into the jungles of Selva Dorada. Realm of magic. Spellcasters have regained access to styled looks. A spellcaster is never not in vogue, but it's always nice to have options. Fixed an issue in which a tank top belonging to this pack was not categorized correctly in Create a Sim. Hot tubs that have been upgraded to unbreakable will no longer be broken upon preserving the zip zaps. Moschino. We have fixed an issue in which some hotkeys in photo mode, particularly E and Q, were not working. After popular demand, the Liberian bookend will now cost simoleons. Nothing's for free. Nothing's for free. Take it away. Tiny living. Murphy beds will now be more resilient after first use. Warranty terms pending. We have also adjusted their pricing and comfort levels. Bang for your buck. Fixed an issue in which game consoles were not usable with the all-in-one entertainment systems. Now the Media Marathoner all-in-one wall will actually be the Media Marathoner all-in-one wall. Fixed an issue with hairstyles from this pack appeared with their color swatches out of order in Create a Sim. Fixed an issue in which Sims could not put up their Murphy beds after Woohoo. So that was everything that I had to say for the patch notes. You made it this far, you made it a long way into the video. Congratulations guys, you've made it in time for the opinion piece that I promised. So as somebody who worked for Mac for several years, almost 5 years actually, I was really excited when I heard that there was a Mac edition in for the makeup. However, as you can see here by these swatches, it was extremely disappointing. How is it that you have one of the largest global makeup companies helping you out, EA, and this is the best makeup you could give us? Really? Like, this was the best we could do with the help from one of the most iconic makeup companies to ever be. You gave us unwearable eyeliners, invisible eyeshadows, invisible blush, and then we get the best-selling lipsticks and lip glosses. Like, my sim really needed Ruby Woo and Heroin lip gloss shades. We already have reds. We already have nudes. Thanks for more dupes of things I didn't need. Where is the contour? Where is the highlighter? Where is the wings that I could fly away with? What are we doing with this makeup? I also thought it was interesting timing that you chose to partner with MAC Cosmetics, a company that is well known for continuing to sell their products in China, where it is mandatory that all imported cosmetics have to go under animal testing, the same week that you release an eco lifestyle pack, something that's supposed to be promoting a more plant-based lifestyle. What is up with that? While I do still respect to support a company that supports diversity as much as you claim to, Sims, since Mac's credo has always been all ages, all sexes, all races, always, where are you at right now, The Sims? Where are you at with that? And I'm not sorry for turning this video into something political because this needs to be said. But how is it that we are 5 years into The Sims 4 and they have not done anything to expand the swatches for the skins? We've got swatches for shelves, swatches for doors, swatches for counters, but no new skin tones in all this time? The shade range was dismal to begin with, but you've had 5 years and you couldn't correct these skin tones one time, EA? Really? If you were a beauty brand and you launched a foundation with a limited shade range like this, you would have been red, dragged, and canceled that day. Look what happened to Tarte's Shape Tape Foundation when it came out. Look how hard people dragged Beauty Blender. And you think it's acceptable for this to stick around in your game for 5 years? The only reasons that I can even think of that people have sat down and put up with this for as long as they have is A, you are the only game in your field. So another point of that is you should be setting a better example, and B, that we have an enormous amount of custom content creators who are out there doing the good work for you so you don't have to. So I'm going to put some links in the description below here for, I hope I say her name right because I really, really respect her, Mira. She made some proper melanin packs and I'm going to link those below too because I thought that, you know, if there was ever a time for EA to actually fix the shade range problem in this game, I thought it would be now. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you right now, I didn't even realize that Bob Pancakes was black until I started seeing other simmers do townie makeovers of him. That is how off these shades are. And I'm not just talking about the darker skin tones either. None of these look human to me. None of these look realistic. And maybe that's just the art style you're going for, is to have your Sims not look human, EA, but it's been 5 years and you need to address it. But I feel like you're not going to because actions speak louder than words, and your actions have been clear right now. After 3 days of human rights riots in the streets of America and the entire world going to protest after what's happening here, you come out with this statement. We stand with and for the Black community, our players, our friends, our family. Black Lives Matter. The Sims is committed to creating the world as it should be, one that is kinder, more connected, and built on the representation and inclusion. How are you going to wait till 3 days into the human rights protesting for the death of George Floyd and all of the unnecessary murders under the cops to make that weak statement? I just don't believe it. If you really believed that Black Lives Matter, like you say you did, you would have been one of the first companies to come out and support like everybody else did. EA Sports even got their statement out days before you. And I know that we're more than 3 days into this situation now because it's been a week since George Floyd was murdered on camera for the nation and the world to watch. But like, that was all you had to say? That was all you had for us, EA? Actions speak louder than words, EA. That's all I have to say. Do better. I know I'm not the right person to be talking about any of this political stuff right now, but we can't count on our leaders to give us comfort in any sort of way in this situation. So a lot of people have been looking towards their companies and their brands to give them some sort of reassurance that you're here and you hear us and you hear what's happening right now. For you to wait 3 days to say anything, The Sims and EA, I'm gonna need you to do better next time. I'm gonna need you to do better now. Black Lives Matter now, every day, and always. Black Lives Matter.